name of the absolute truth, highest absolute truth? Brahma. Brahma itself is a name. I hope you are able to understand. That absolute truth has no name. But in order to denote that absolute truth, he has to take shelter of a name. And what name does he take shelter of? Brahman. And then they reduce it to the smallest name. The smallest name they call is Tat. What do they call it? Tat. Tat Tvamasi. Tat Tvamasi, that you are. Now what is the meaning of Tat, dear devotees? Brahman. But all these names, Tat, Brahma, etc., they say that it cannot represent the absolute truth completely. These are just temporary indicators of the absolute truth. That is what it is. But even the impersonalist has to use a specific name, either Brahma or Tat or any similar name for representing the absolute truth. So dear devotees, it is impossible for the impersonalist to get rid of all names and forms. And therefore in the Gita, in the 12th chapter, when Arjuna asked Bhagavan, what is the impersonalist path superior or is the path of bhakti superior? And Bhagavan said very clearly, Klesho adhikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. It's very difficult for the impersonalist. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbhir avapyate. He said because he has a name and form, the impersonalist has a name and form, but the impersonalist has to try to negate all names and forms. It becomes very difficult for them. They have to use stepping stones like terms such as Brahman and Tat in order to denote that which actually doesn't have a name and form. It becomes very difficult for them. On the other side are the devotees who have accepted all variegated names and forms of Bhagavan. Now it becomes very easy for them to practice this particular path. Dear devotees, obviously the same question doesn't leave the mind, and that is about the deity. Now I'll show you a few deities and perhaps you can recognize some of the deities. Can anybody recognize which? This is Sri Radha Madan Mohan in Karoli, Jaipur. Alright. This is second deity. Can anybody?
This is Govind. Gopinath.
Sri Radha Damodar in Sri Vrindavan. Alright.
Consciously getting it.
This is the test.
Okay. No problem. No problem. It's okay. This one, this Sri Vigraha is easy to recognize. Oh, wonderful. Mayapur. लिखा हुआ है इसमें. Dear devotees, please tell me, do all the deities look same or different?
Different.
Bolo, clearly, say loudly.
Different.
You don't have to shy away. Which one of them is Krishna and which one of them is not Krishna? How can all of them be Krishna? Yo, he is everywhere. So the impersonalist says, wonderful, welcome to our school. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma.
Individual example. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a child.
That is your social role. I understand that. But if your ID card is made and there are 3 different photos, so the authorities will also say which one is you.
Yeah.
If you have 3 different ID cards with 3 different photos, government will say something is not right about this person. Which one of them is Shri Krishna, dear devotees? All. Acha. They don't all look the same, but all of them are Krishna.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Acha, I'll ask you a very simple question. All of these forms were made according to the concept that the person who made the deity, he had a concept in his mind that deity has to look like this. So according to the mental concept of that person, he carved the deity.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's what I'm understanding.
So then,
Krishna Swami.
huh?
Krishna Swami is explained in the Bhagavatam, right? How he looks.
Wonderful. Then everybody should have looked the same.
But we don't look the same in all times.
Oh. Yeah, in different ages we look different. But this is Kishore Krishna. All of them are Kishore Krishna. They should look the same. Actually, according to the mental conception of the person who was carving the deity at a particular point of time, they thought Krishna looks like this. They made Krishna look like this. But then, how can Krishna be in all of the deities? Or how can all the deities be non-different from Krishna? Now, I'll show you a painting that was made during Srila Prabhupada's time by the artists, visible artists. Here is a painting that was made during Srila Prabhupada's time. Now I ask you, is Krishna present in the painting?
Yes.
Yes. If I take a photograph of the painting, is Krishna present in that photograph?
Yeah.
How is it that he is present in all these forms? Now it's easy to say yes, but then we have to also support our understanding from some Tattva point of view. Then we will understand what is exactly the Vaishnava point of view. Many times the impersonalists, they put an accusation that sentimentally they just say the deity is not different from Bhagwan. But when it comes to actually explaining how the deity is not different from Bhagwan, much logical explanation is not there. So today we will look at that logical explanation that is given by the Acharyas, so that we can understand how this particular thing works. Now, dear devotees, I will ask a very simple question. How do we know that these are deities and these are not just the mental conceptions of the person who carved them? Right? How do we know that these are deities and not the mental conceptions of the person who carved them? The answer is very simple. For any limb of bhakti, how do we know whether, for example, japa, how do we know that you are chanting japa and you are not just uttering the syllables? Very simple question I am asking. Prabhu, you chant japa every day? Huh? I hope. And just a side point, it reminds me of one particular thing. There was once a devotee in a particular temple. He used to chant many rounds, his hand is always in the bead bag. Sometime later it was found that there are no beads inside the bead bag. Anyway, so, the Prabhu chants his rounds very seriously, wonderful. Prabhuji, how do we know that you are chanting Naam and you are not just chanting the syllables? Yes.
And the effect, it has an impact.
The effect may be material. Tomorrow, due to material nature, he may get some positive reaction. And he may say, this is the result of my japa. How do we know that it was a result of the japa? See, we are diving deep because once we take out this particular doubt from our heart, forever it will be clear. So, dear devotees, it's a very important thing to understand. No material activity can grasp Shri Krishna. This movement of the hands cannot grasp Shri Krishna. This carving of a particular stone in a particular way cannot grasp Shri Krishna. It's a very simple thing. This painting Bhagwan in a certain way cannot grasp Krishna. It cannot manifest Krishna within it. Please tell me, the senses are material or spiritual?
Material.
The eyes which we are using to look at these forms, these eyes are material or spiritual?
Material.
How can Bhagwan become present in material names and forms? Very simple question. And the answer is clearly, Bhagwan cannot become present in any material names and forms. Logical, rational, 100%. But there is still a very important principle that works here. Sri Rupa Goswami gives a Siddhanta in this regard in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Please sing after me. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavedrahyam Indriyai Sevonmukhe hi Jihvadau Swayam eva Spuratyadaha Ataha Shri Krishna Nam Adi. Therefore the name of Krishna, Adi. What does Adi mean, dear devotees? Etc. What comes after name, dear devotees?
Rupa, Leela, Guna.
What is in the English translation of Rupa?
Form.
Shri Vigraha also. I hope you are able to understand. Name, form, qualities, pastimes. Na bhavet, cannot be grahyam, grasped by the indriya, by the senses. This is 100% a fact. We are very rational here that our material senses cannot grasp a form of Shri Krishna. So when that person who carved the deity in the 17th century, his mental image of Sri Krishna was different. When another deity was carved in the 18th century, the mental image was different. When another deity was carved in the 21st century, and we polished it to the max, now we have advanced polishing technologies.
Yeah.
So the mental image was completely different. But all of these were forms carved by having a material image in the mind. Sri Rupa Goswami is very clear about this. There is no doubt about this. But Sevon Mukhe, the most important term in the verse, dear devotees, is what? Seva Unmukhe. As soon as we are Unmukha, inclined for Seva, Hi Jihvadau Swayam Eva Spurati, then Bhagwan automatically manifests in all of these particular entities. I hope you are able to understand. This is the basic distinguishing factor between materialism and spiritualism in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. This verse, the importance of this verse cannot be stated enough. And in the third line, the first term is the crux of the entire verse. What is the crux of the entire verse, dear devotees?
Sevonmukhe.
Seva Unmukha. Can anybody who speaks Hindi, can you tell me what is Unmukha? Inclined. I hope you are able to. What is Unmukha, dear devotees?
Inclined.
And what is the meaning of Seva Unmukha? Inclined for what? Seva. Service. As soon as the mind of the individual is inclined for Seva, Swayam Eva Spurati, Bhagwan's name, Bhagwan's form automatically descends on that particular material entity or material sense organ. I hope this particular Siddhanta is clear. Have you seen some of the old deities? Do they look very refined or do they look very crude externally? How do they look? Crude externally. Yeah. Now, once I went to Prachin Navadip, and there is this Narsingapalli. How many of us have gone to Narsimhadev temple, Prachin Mayapur? If you look at the first time I looked at Narsimhadev, I had to ask, this is Narsimhadev or because it's very old deity, very old deity. I was not able to make out that this is Narsimhadev. They say, yeah, this is Narsimhadev. So I said, all right. Although it doesn't look so much like Narsimhadev, but yeah, all right. I accept it is Narsimhadev. Why? Because the individual who performed Pran Pratishtha of that particular deity had one important factor within their mind while performing Pran Pratishtha. And that important factor is mentioned in the third line. What is that factor, dear devotees? Seva. Okay. That individual was inclined towards performing Seva. And because that individual was inclined towards performing Seva, Bhagwan's form descended, became non-different from the form that was created, and thus it is known as Shri Vigraha. Swayam Eva Spurati, Bhagwan's form descends on that particular entity. So here is the translation. Prabhu, kindly read.
The names, forms, etc. of Sri Krishna cannot be grasped by the ordinary senses. It is only when these senses, visible, tongue, etc., become inclined to genuine service that these names, forms, etc. of Sri Krishna manifest spontaneously on the ordinary senses.
So, once again I am asking a question. The forms and names in this world, are they material or spiritual? Be confidently, please tell me. Are they material or spiritual?
Material.
So now it makes sense to our rationale. Alright, so the forms and names are material. But there is one particular process by which the spiritual can voluntarily descend on the material and become non-different from this material. And that is, one particular term is there. And what is that term, dear devotees?
Sevonmukha.
Sevonmukha. This term is so important. If you understand this thing, sometimes people ask me about Smaran. One of the most important doubts about Smaran, remembrance of Bhagavan. How do you understand if it is Smaran or my imagination? How do you understand whether I am performing Smaran or imagination? And the answer is the same. See, his mental image of Krishna while he performs Smaran will be different. My mental image of Krishna when I perform Smaran will be slightly different. And you see the previous acharyas also. Some are saying Krishna is like a dark cloud. Some are saying Krishna is like a blue sapphire. Some are saying Krishna is like a tamal tree. Arey, how should we put both these things together in a mixer and take the outcome? So how does Krishna look? Actually, Krishna's form cannot be perceived by the material eye. It can only be perceived by a spiritual body. But there are approximations in the material world. I hope you are able to understand. There are approximations in the material. The dark cloud is an approximation of Sri Krishna's form so that the material intellect can try to understand. The tamal tree is an approximation of that form so that the material intellect can understand this. The blue lotus is an approximation of that color so that the material intellect can understand this. But when you make a painting and you make it bluish dark or completely dark or blue, can Bhagwan be present in that particular painting? Please tell me yes or no. Yes, if there is
Seva.
seva unmukhe, there is inclination to perform seva. Alright, this is the Siddhanta behind deities. Okay, the deity is not different from Krishna because there is one particular phenomenon that has happened, and this phenomenon, dear devotees, has been described by our Acharya Srila Jiva Goswami, and I will specify this. Please repeat after me. Atidesh.
Atidesh.
Now, Atidesh is a wonderful concept that the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas help us to understand what is deity. Here, Sri Jiva Goswami in Bhagavad Sandarbha, in the second Sandarbha, he says, please repeat after me. Laukika Bhagavan Niketasyapi Tad Aveshan Nairgunyam Atidishyate. See the term Atidesh in the final term that Sri Jiva Goswami has given, Atidesh. Now, what is the meaning of Atidesh? Dear devotees, please hear carefully. This is a very important concept. Please keep this concept with you throughout your life. And please don't forget the term, because we don't know when this will be repeated. Very rarely are those concepts discussed. Please keep this in your mind. What is Atidesh? Atidesh is when all the characteristics of one entity are copied and applied to another entity. That is known as what? Atidesh. I'll give you one simple example. For example, there is a statement in Shastra. Na griham ityahur grihini griham uchyate. A home is not a home. The wife is the home. And there is a statement in Shastra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Na griham ityahur grihini griham uchyate. The home is not actually the home. Who is the home? The grihini. The lady of the home is the home. So all the characteristics of the home are being taken and are being applied to which entity?
Grihini.
The wife. This is a classic example of which principle, dear devotees?
Atidesh.
I hope you are able to understand. So by giving one example, I have said this. So I'll give another example. For example, our Srinivas Sharan Prabhu, he is very brave. So he said, tiger is not a tiger. Srinivas Sharan Prabhu is the tiger. So here I have performed Atidesh. Whose qualities have I completely transferred to Srinivas Sharan Prabhu? Tiger. This is example of Atidesh.
A cat would be perfect example. Especially in front of the wife.
That everybody can agree. But alone, you believe you.
Oh yes.
Yeah, see, he agrees. So, Atidesh. This is really what it is. I'm giving just simple example to explain Atidesh. So sometimes what happens, all the characteristics of one entity get applied to another entity without the original losing its qualities. This is called as what, dear devotees?
Atidesh.
If required, please write it down, make a mental note. This will be required throughout our life to understand Shri Vigraha Tatva. This Atidesh. What is Sri Jiva Goswami saying? He is saying Laukika Bhagavan Niketa. Laukika means in this material world. Bhagavan Niketa. Bhagavan Niketa means temple of Bhagavan. In this material world, a temple of Bhagavan. Api tad aveshan nairgunyam atidishyate. When there is a temple in the material world of Bhagavan and when you perform pran pratishtha, do you perform pran pratishtha only of the deity or is it a pran pratishtha of the entire temple, dear devotees?
Deity.
So then the remaining temple is material. In the entire temple, the deity is spiritual, and what is the rest of the temple? Is it spiritual or material?
material.
Wow, very important question. Very important question. You perform the prana pratishtha of the deity. So the deity is coming and staying in the material world, or the deity is not different from Bhagavan. So when Bhagavan descends, does Bhagavan descend without his abode, or does Bhagavan descend with his abode?
With his abode.
With his abode. Isn't it? So actually the prana pratishtha is for the pratishtha is for the entire temple. So when the Vedic mantras, you put the Vastu Purush underneath and you invoke the Vedic mantras, and the entire temple, by the utterance of the Vedic mantras, there is atidesh of the spiritual world into this particular temple. I hope you are able to understand. By principle of atidesh, all the characteristics of the spiritual world are applied to this temple in the material world. Now in the spiritual world, who is the central entity? Krishna. And in the temple, which is the central entity? The deity. I hope you are able to understand. So, just as all the qualities of the spiritual world by Atidesh get applied to the temple, all the qualities of Shri Krishna by the principle of Atidesh get applied to the deity. And then we call it Shri Vigraha. What do we call it? Shri Vigraha. This is what is called as Atidesh. By principle of Atidesh, a complete transfer of qualities takes place by the utterance of the Vedic mantras. And that is why we say that the temple is non-different from the spiritual world and the deity is non-different from whom? Shri Krishna. Here is the translation, Prabhu. Kindly read the translation.
Even in a temple in the material world, there is complete presence of the spiritual world and Bhagavan by the principle of Atidesh.
Atidesh. Wonderful. Now, dear devotees, if somebody asks us, is the deity non-different from Bhagavan? What will be our answer?
Yes, not different.
By which principle?
Atidesh.
Why did the Atidesh happen? Because Sevon Mukhehi, the individual who installed the deity, had one inclination in the mind. Which inclination did he have in the mind?
Seva.
And by that inclination, Bhagavan and his entire abode by the principle of Atidesh manifested in the temple and the Shri Vigraha. Now everything connects together, dear devotees. This is the entire principle of Atidesh. And when we understand this particular principle, we will understand how Shri Vigraha Tatva works and what is it in our Sampradaya. So, it is easy to say that just believe the deity is not different from Krishna. But it's not about just believe. There are entire principles of Atidesh and the entire principle of Seva Unmukha, and that at the form of Bhagavan descends upon the form that has been made in the temple. And that happens during Prana Pratishtha. Because a pure devotee of Bhagavan or a very elevated devotee of Bhagavan, by the mood of Seva, they invite Bhagavan to descend on that form and become non-different from that form. So that is the entire tattva behind this, dear devotees. Now, this is the basic tattva of Shri Vigraha. Unless we understand this, there is no progressing ahead. Therefore, this had to be introduced in the beginning. Now that we understand that the Shri Vigraha is non-different from Bhagavan, now we can perform limbs of bhakti with the Shri Vigraha also. In fact, one of the 5 potent limbs of bhakti as spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Shri Vigraha Sevan. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vas, Shri Murti Sevan. So the Shri Murti Sevan, there are 2 main types in which you can serve the deity. In Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he has specified 2 limbs of bhakti out of the 64 which are related to seva of Shri Vigraha. Alright, first limb, dear devotees, please repeat. Archanam. Archanam refers to initial preparation of worship. What is initial preparation of worship? First we prepare ourselves. There is something called as Bhoot Shuddhi. What is Bhoot Shuddhi? Bhoot Shuddhi means we cannot touch a spiritual entity with material ego. So therefore, Bhoot Shuddhi, purification of the material ego happens by considering oneself as an eternal associate of Bhagavan. That process, dear devotees, is known as what? Bhoot Shuddhi. Because I will tell you a very simple thing. Many devotees are there who will go on the altar and they will dress Krishna and Srimati Radharani. A very simple question I want to ask you. Can a person who is having a masculine ego touch the body of Srimati Radharani? Please tell me. Yes or no?
No.
In the spiritual world, has it ever happened that any person of masculine ego has managed to touch Srimati Radharani besides Krishna? Is there anybody who has touched? No. Now, how can a person who has a masculine ego go on the altar and directly change the clothes of Srimati Radharani or Sri Krishna? Is it possible, dear devotees? No. So before we enter, we have to perform a process. That process is called as what? Bhut Shuddhi. One of the verses in our GBC Pancharatra Pradeep manual, which is for Bhut Shuddhi. Na ham vipro, na chanarapatir, na pivaishyo, na shudro, na ham varni, na chagrahapatir, no vanastho yatirva, kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamritabhyas, gopi bhartu padakamayo
dasa dasanudasa.
So this is our Neti Neti verse. In our Sampradaya, this is our Neti Neti verse. Na ham vipro, na chanarapati, na pivachyo, na shudro. Yeah, our Neti Neti verse in our Sampradaya. If you think about it deeply, we also are believers in Neti Neti. But our Neti Neti also has a positive aspect that we enter with the aspiration that Bhagavan, please accept this seva in the mood as if your eternal associate is offering this seva. I hope you are able to understand. Please accept this in that mood. Otherwise, it is impossible for a person who has a masculine ego to touch the body of Sri Radha. Forget about masculine ego. Even a lady who enters on the altar, even she will not be able to touch the body of Sri Radha without Bhut Shuddhi. And the question may be asked why? Because Sri Radha is feminine, this lady is also feminine. So she should be able to directly touch the body of Sri Radha. But no, why will Sri Radha accept seva from somebody who is not from Gopajati? I hope you are able to understand. What is Gopajati, Cowherd family. But that lady is not from that cowherd family. Why will Sri Radha allow a stranger lady and allow her to perform this seva? Dear devotees, so very important. Bhut Shuddhi, the initial preparation for performing this seva is called as Bhut Shuddhi. After Bhut Shuddhi, a person relieves themselves of their ego and then enters with an aspiration to become a Vrajavasi. And then by that they are able to gain the authorization for touching the deity. Acha, somebody may say, I didn't perform Bhut Shuddhi, still I was able to change the clothes. What will you do? And somebody may ask like this. Are Baba, you are missing the most important element in Sri Rupa Goswami's verse in the third line. What was the most important element?
Seva
Unmukhe. The Seva Unmukha is not there. So will Bhagwan descend on your seva? Will Bhakti descend on your particular seva? No. You may externally change the dress and something like. But was your purpose to change the external dress or was your purpose to render seva to Bhagwan and Sri Radha? Very good. So when seva unmukha is not there and you may go with that masculine ego or feminine ego that I am this in the material world, I changed by my knowledge, I changed the dress of the deity, or seva is missing here. So will a person be able to get any amount of bhakti by having this sort of an ego in front of the deity? And that is not possible. So this is first limb, dear devotees. What is the name of that limb? Archana. Second, dear devotees, after Archanam also includes many cleaning the temple, preparing all the utensils. This all falls under what? Archana. And then next, dear devotees, please repeat. Paricharya.
Paricharya.
What is Paricharya? Sri Jiva Goswami explains. Ragya iva seva. Now, when the actual service begins, when you light the incense and actual service begins, that is known as what, dear devotees? Paricharya. So that is a separate limb of bhakti. This is separate limb, Archanam is separate limb, Paricharya is a separate limb. And what is Paricharya? What is basically Arati? Arati is nothing but all the things that you offer to a king. That is the same thing that you offer to the deity. When traditionally, when a king would come, so they would have chamar. I hope you remember, they would blow conch. Yeah. Actually, conch blowing is the Kshatriya culture. If you know, it is not Brahmin culture. Conch blowing is which culture? Kshatriya culture. When the king is entering, they blow the conch. And then, after blowing the conch, then the king, there is incense, then there is this arti, there is the entire thali, the servants are giving chamar, some servants are giving the fan. And then in this way, so many paraphernalia are offered. So Sri Jiva Goswami just says, Ragya iva seva. Service exactly as given to a Raja. And whatever service is given to a Raja is also given to the deity. Because the temple is non-different from the spiritual world. And who is the king within the temple, dear devotees? Sri Vigraha. So the king should be given king-like seva. Therefore, this is Paricharya, another limb of bhakti. Alright, so Archanam is initial preparation, Paricharya is actual worship. Alright, so both are considered as bhakti. Question arises, why should initial preparation be also considered as bhakti? Isn't it? Should initial preparation be considered as bhakti? You are washing the plates, you are cleansing your ego. Why should this be considered as bhakti? Yes, Mataji.
Because if you don't have bhakti, then it won't have any meaning. What are you doing in this process? That has to connect with it.
Wonderful. The question I am asking is, should Archanam, the initial limbs, why should that be counted when there is no direct interaction with Bhagavan involved there?
That is the inclination, Sevonmukha. You are getting
wonderful. So, Prabhu caught the point very. The inclination for seva, does it begin only in Paricharya or does it begin in Archanam? Where does it begin?
Archanam.
So the Acharyas say, just as all the activities before the yajna are also considered within the yajna. Does a yajna begin only with swaha or does it begin with making the yajna kund? So it begins with making the yajna kund, gathering the firewood. All people who are involved in this should get the piety. So just as preliminary activities of yajna are included within the yajna, similarly preliminary activities of paricharya, which is archanam, are also included within it. And then you get the devotional piety for both of these activities. It's a very important thing to understand. But Sri Rupa Goswami separated both of them so that we understand that there is also a logical difference between both of them. Although both of them will give you devotional results. So this is the Siddhanta behind it. Now,
So why then the deity worship is...
Why the word king is used?
why is king used?
Yeah. So not as Bhagwan.
Okay. It's not as if the king, Ragya Iva means you serve him as if you are serving a king, because the best things in the kingdom are offered to whom? First offered to him? The king. That is the reason.
But king, if you want to worship, then when the king himself is doing it, then he is king himself, right?
Yeah. So when king comes in front of Bhagwan, he is coming to the temple. Temple is whose kingdom? Bhagwan's kingdom. So the king also has to bow down in front of Bhagwan. And we see that in Jagannath Puri, the Raja, Gajapati, he also becomes a sevak. He also becomes a servant in front of Bhagwan. Because that is, then he does that, Ragya Iva Seva. When Raja comes, you sweep
Sweeping.
That's what you do in front of a Raja.
Yeah.
You sweep the floor in front of the Raja.
So king is just a material thing, basically.
No. It is an example to explain the mindset that is there behind serving Bhagwan. You serve Bhagwan exactly like you serve a king. Isn't it? The mindset behind that
King
seva.
cannot be supreme.
And
Like Thakur.
in the spiritual world, there is Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, is there a king, Prabhu?
Bhagwan is there.
That's all. I hope you are able to understand. So even in Vaikuntha, there is the concept of a king. You were asking something, Prabhu?
So commonly all the deity worship term is called as archanam, right? Not
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are two separate terms. So when you look at it in detail, also there is generic knowledge and then there is specific detail. So I'll give you an example. Japa is also chanting and Kirtan is also chanting. In English, you translate Japa also is chanting and Kirtan also is chanting. But is there a difference between Japa and Kirtan? Of course, there is a difference. These two limbs are there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. These are two separate limbs among the 64 limbs. So there must be a reason why Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada differentiated between these two, right?
So sometimes some of these preparatory things like garland, making garlands and things, or stitching the dress, even can be done by a first initiate or a non.
Yeah.
So even that is considered as like how do you...
So stitching the clothes.
I'm not talking about the professional tailors and among the devotee communities are making garlands and
those are separate sevas. They are neither included within Archana nor included within Paricharya. They are separately mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas.
But still there is a Sevanmukhi.
In that also there is seva. No doubt about this. But when you are to enter into the altar, step into the altar, to put your feet into the altar, that is when these two start applying. Outside of the altar, there are hundreds and thousands of sevas that can happen. And they may be optionally done by those who are first initiates. But when you are stepping, padarpan, when you are stepping into the altar, then you require second initiation. And then for the second initiates, these two limbs start applying, Archanam and Paricharya. So that is it. I hope that clarifies. Chalo, let's move ahead. Dear devotees, one important thing to understand for anybody who worships a deity of Shri Bhagavan is that one should respect other devatas very much. Respecting other devatas is one of the 64 limbs of bhakti mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita. Alright, this is Sri Rupa Goswami's own words. One of the 64 limbs of bhakti, please repeat after me. Anya, Deva, Anavagya, Anya Deva, Anavagya. Anavagya. What is the meaning of Anya Deva? Other deities. Avagya is disrespect, Anavagya, non-disrespect. Anya Deva, Anavagya, non-disrespect of other deities. Simply by not disrespecting other deities, we are executing bhakti. I hope you are able to understand. Simply by not disrespecting other deities, we are executing bhakti. There are some limbs in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu which are negative in nature. For example, one of these is to avoid Nam Aparad and Seva Aparad. Simply by not committing Nam Aparad, we are executing bhakti. Sometimes it happens, in the material world. I'll give material example. Simply by not breaking the traffic rules, you are becoming a good citizen. Isn't it? So similarly, some limbs are negative in nature. So simply by not disrespecting other deities, you are performing bhakti. Here is an example. The verse that Sri Rupa Goswami quotes. Here is exact verse that Sri Rupa Goswami quotes. Please repeat after me. Harireva Sadaradhya Sarvadeveshwareshwarah Itare Brahma Rudradhya Navagneya Kadachana Harir Eva Sada Aradhya. Hari is Sada, always our worshipable, Aradhya. Why? Sarva Deva Ishwareshwara. He is the supreme lord of all the deities in the world. No doubt. So he is our worshipable. But Itare, other deities. And who are the other deities? Brahma, Rudra, Adi. Adi includes all the Vedic deities. Na avagyeya. Never disrespect. Kadachana. At any point of time. This is one of the 64 limbs of bhakti. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
Hari is the Supreme Lord and thus he is to be worshipped always. At the same time, other devatas, Brahma, Rudra, etc. are never to be disrespected.
This is one of the 64 limbs of bhakti. To not disrespect other devatas. So this we should have it very clear in our mind. Any Vaishnava who has envy of Bhagwan Shiva or any Shaiva who has envy of Vishnu, these people cannot attain any destination. It is very clearly mentioned in the Shastra. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, there is a verse, I am quoting by memory. Mad Bhakta Shankara Dveshi, Mad Dveshi Shankara Priya, Ubhau Tau Narakam Yatau Yavat Chandra Divakaro. Mad Bhakta Shankara Dveshi, my devotee but envious of whom? Shankara. And Mad Dveshi Shankara Priya, and devotee of Shankara but envious of me. Ubhau Tau, both these people, Narakam Yatau, will go to hell, which means they will attain rebirth in this world. Yavat Chandra Divakaro, as long as the sun and moon are shining in the sky, they will not get liberated. Very important. That to have that envy of the other deity, how can this deity have a separate existence when Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How can this deity receive separate offerings when everything is supposed to be given to Krishna? This envy of other deities is to be avoided by a Vaishnava always. The root of that envy is how can there be a separate authority in this world besides my worshipable Lord. So this, the root of this is this particular mindset. And this particular mindset should be completely uprooted by anybody who wants to be a Vaishnava. Right? Yes, Prabhu, if you wanted to say something.
Yes, Prabhu, I have a question. Like, what does disrespect here mean? For example, like in an altar, if we get like a Ganeshi picture or like a Ganeshi deity, then we put it one level down or like 2 levels down of Bhagwan. And then when we are offering to Krishna, like Prashadam also, then we are only chanting Krishna mantra, not like. Does that mean that we are disrespecting? Like, what is
Hierarchy is not disrespect. I hope you are able to understand. Hierarchy is not disrespect. In fact, Guru is also kept below Bhagwan. Does it mean that we are disrespecting the Guru? No. Hierarchy is not disrespect. We are showing respect by giving them a position within the altar. But then there are some individuals who think we should actually, those people outside who are worshipping Shiva and those who are worshipping Devi, those people are wasting their time. They should stop all of that. We should close all the other temples and just have Vishnu Puja. This is incorrect mindset. They also are eligible for, they have been given certain rights in the world by Bhagavan. So they are receiving certain worship from their followers. We respect that worship. We respect that they are receiving offerings from their respective followers. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to occasionally visit the temples of Devi, used to visit the temple of Bhagavan Shiva. There it is mentioned, recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita. For example, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Maharashtra, he visited Mahalakshmi in Kolhapur and he paid obeisances and danced in front of the deity. It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Bhuvaneshwar, he visited the deity of Lingaraj, Mahadev, in Bhuvaneshwar. In Lingaraj Mandir, he sang the Shivashtakam, which is recorded in Sri Murari Gupta's Chaitanya Charita Mahakavyam. So Bhagavan Chaitanya Mahaprabhu composed Ashtakam for Sri Bhagavan Sri Shiva. And our Acharyas have also composed verses which are according to our mood for offering to Bhagavan Shiva. So then we should all, whenever we see a deity of Bhagavan Shiva, Mandir of Bhagavan Shiva, we should make it a point that if we have the time, we should definitely go and offer our pranam. To not ask for anything material, but at least following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, go and offer some pranam. Yes, Prabhuji.
We understand this, but in practicality, in temples, when temples do like a Shivratri, it becomes controversial, it looked upon as something, why are you doing this?
Yes.
So how do you reconcile? What is the official position?
See, one thing about, the good thing about Mahashivratri Vrati, there is big detail in Hari Bhakti Vilas about Mahashivratri. There is an entire section in Hari Bhakti Vilas about Mahashivratri. I will quote the verse exactly from memory. Shivratri vratam idam yadyapi avashyakam nahi. That she said, although it is not compulsory, but sadacharad vilikhyate, out of good conduct, because many Vaishnavas follow it. Therefore, I am writing this about this particular vrata in Hari Bhakti Vilas. So in Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, they write in detail about, and there are many verses about non-difference of Shiva and Vishnu there. Anybody who envies Shiva, they will not be able to. This verse which I quoted, Mat Bhakta Shankara Deshi, is from that Shivratri section of Hari Bhakti Vilas. So what happens is, in an institution, when we try to apply one standard on a mass level, some people become uncomfortable. And then some people become very comfortable. Yeah, this is what I wanted. And some people become very uncomfortable. This is what I didn't want this. So the best thing is to say that optionally there will be Shivratri Vrata. Optionally, those who have a family tradition or those who have deep faith in Bhagavan Shiva, there is going to be an optionally, you can fast on this particular day. So then what happens is, people understand that it is optional for Vaishnavas. If they want to do it, they can do it. So this is the traditional Gaudiya Vaishnava position about Shivratri. I will just pull out the verse very quickly so that I'll break out of the presentation, because this is a very important question, and I will pull out that particular verse from the 14th Vilas of Hari Bhakti Vilas. It's a very wonderful discussion on Mahashivratri which is given there. So, yes. Can you see? It is 14th chapter. Atha Shivratri Vratam. And this is now Sri Sanatana Goswami is going to speak about which Vrata, dear devotees? Shivratri. Achha, one important thing to note. In every month there is one Shivratri. But once a year there comes Mahashivratri. So that here the Vrata is about what? Mahashivratri. Please repeat after me. Shivaratri Vratamidam.
Shivaratri Vratamidam.
Yadyapi avashyakam nahi.
Yadyapi avashyakam nahi.
Vaishnavanam tathapyatra.
Vaishnavanam tadapyatra.
Sadacharad vilikhyate.
Sadacharad vilikhyate.
Very simple. He's so democratic in his approach. This is how a Gaudiya Vaishnava thinks. Shivaratri Vratamidam. Although this vow of Shivaratri, Yadyapi avashyakam nahi. It cannot be made a compulsion for every Vaishnava. But still, Vaishnavanam tathapyata. There are some Vaishnavas who have some faith in Bhagavan Shiva, some Vaishnavas who have family tradition related to Bhagavan Shiva. Sadachara, out of good conduct, vilikhyate. I am writing about it. Now, even if a Vaishnava follows Shivratri, what should be the essential mode of a Vaishnava behind Shivratri? Next verse. Shivratri Vratam Krishna.
Shivratri Vratam Krishna.
Chaturdashyam tu Phalgune.
Chaturdashyam tu Phalgune.
Vaishnavairapi tatkaryam.
Vaishnavairapi tatkaryam.
Shri Krishna Pritaye Sada.
Shri Krishna Pritaye Sada.
Indirectly you are hearing Sri Sanatana Goswami. This is 24 karat gold. This is what the tradition is expecting from us. Shivratri Vratam, this Mahashivratri comes on Krishna Chaturdashi of Phalgun Mas. So he says which Phalgune, in the month of Phalgun, on Chaturdashi, on the dark fortnight. This is Shivratri Vratam. Vaishnavairapi tatkaryam, even by the Vaishnavas it should be followed. But what is the motivation? Shri Krishna Pritaye, for pleasing whom? Shri Krishna. Sevon Mukhe. For by worshipping worshipping Bhagavan Shiva, Shri Krishna will be happy. So therefore the Vaishnava should execute Shivratri Vrata. This is the motivation of a Vaishnava for following Shivratri. So wonderful, wonderful verses. So many verses here. My goodness, there is you can see Mad Bhakta Shankara Dveshi, Mad Dveshi Shankara Priya, Ubhau Tau Narakam Yatau, Yavat Chandra Divakarau. So all these verses they are there. Below, Yaha Shiva, so Ahameva, he who is Shiva is me. Yo Aham sa Bhagavan Shiva, and I am Bhagavan Shiva. So like how many verses of non-distinction are being spoken between Bhagavan Shiva and Bhagavan Vishnu. So Vaishnavas take it seriously. But for Vaishnava it is optional. I hope you are able to understand. The Vrata is optional. But even if somebody is not performing the Vrata, at least don't disrespect Bhagavan Shiva. That's it. One important factor. We should not because this is limb number 17 of 64. Dear devotees, please hear limb number 17. What is the name of limb number 17, dear devotees? Anya Deva Anavagya. Not disrespecting other devatas. One of the negative limbs. Limb number 11 to limb number 20 are negative limbs that you do have to avoid some things. This is one of the negative limbs amongst the 64 limbs of Bhakti, devotees.
I have a question.
Wonderful, yes.
So, if we understand who are these devatas, what is actually they mean? Are we talking about the potency of Krishna, or how we define them, how we understand them? If we do that, then probably we have a better understanding of whether to disrespect or not.
Wonderful. What is the most proper attitude with which to look upon at the devatas? This attitude has been given in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam when Bharat Maharaj was offering sacrifices. Because to speak something, we have to give a praman. So it is very important to give a praman. What is the best attitude about looking at the devatas? Now, once again, since you have asked a wonderful question, here is from the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bharat Maharaj. Here it is. Prabhu, can you read loudly?
Yes, sir. After performing the preliminaries of various sacrifices, Maharaj Bharata offered the results in the name of religion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva.
Okay. So after initial archanam, what is the initial devotees? Archanam. So he offered all of that which was offered to the devatas, he finally offered unto whom? Bhagwan Vasudeva. Let all this worship be for you. Okay.
In other words, he performed all the yajnas for the satisfaction of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Maharaj Bharata thought that since the demigods were different parts of Vasudeva's body, he controls those who are explained in the Vedic mantras. By thinking in this way, Maharaj Bharata was freed from all material contamination such as attachment, lust and greed.
Okay.
When the priests were about to offer the sacrificial ingredients into the fire, Maharaj Bharata expertly understood how the offering made to the different demigods was simply an offering to the different limbs of the Lord.
So the offering made to Indra. Indra is one limb of Bhagavan. Chandra is another limb of Bhagavan. Vayu is another limb of Bhagavan. Agni is another limb of Bhagavan. Please read ahead.
Yeah, for instance, Indra is the arm of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Surya, the sun, is his eye. Thus, Maharaj Bharata considered that the oblations offered to different demigods were actually offered unto the different limbs of Lord Vasudeva.
This is the attitude of the devotee. Very clear. This is 5.7.6 Srimad Bhagavatam. This attitude we keep. Indraya Swaha, you are offering unto whom? Indra. But Indra is whom? The arm of Bhagavan. Idam Indraya idam namama. This is for Indra. This is not for me. Agnaye Swaha. This is for Agni. Idam Agnaye idam namama. This is for Agni. This is not for me. So like this. I hope it. Suryaya Swaha. This is for Surya. Idam Suryaya idam namama. This is for Surya. This is not for me. Alright, so like this. In this way, Bharat Maharaj was thinking that all of this is being offered actually unto the different limbs of whom?
Krishna, Vasudeva.
And in this way, he was freed from all contamination. So this Mataji is the attitude of the devotee in this regard. Alright.
One question is the Jiva, all deities are Jiva, right? And we are also Jiva.
No. Bhagavan Shiva is not Jiva.
No. Bhagavan Shiva, Indra is there, Surya is there. They are Jiva like us. But they are on highly elevated persons.
They are appointed servants of Bhagavan. They are appointed servants of Bhagavan in the universe. Okay. So in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Shri Rup Goswami calls them Adhikrit Parshad. There is a term for them. What is their name? Adhikrit Parshad in Bhakti Rasamrit. Authorized servants in the material world. So they are Adhikrit Parshad of Bhagavan Shri Krishna in the material world. So that's how we look at them. Okay. Now, dear devotees, a devotee should understand that worship as the Supreme Lord should only be for whom? Vishnu. This is from Sri Madhvacharya and it is quoted by Sri Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha. Please sing after me. Tasmad Vaidikanam cha Devanam Archanam Tyaje Swatantra Pujanam Yatra Vaidikanam Api Tyaje Tasmad Avaidikanam Devatanam Archanam Tyaje. Give up worship of all deities who are non-Vedic. Because recently many new deities gods have come up. Are they Vedic or Avaidic? Avaidic. We don't need to name anybody. Okay? Are those newer gods who have cropped up, are they Vedic or non-Vedic? Non-Vedic. Because they are not mentioned in Veda, Itihas or Puran. Therefore they are non-Vedic. Tasmad Avaidikanam Devanam Archanam Tejet. Completely give up worship of which devatas? Non-Vedic devatas. Swatantra Pujanam Yatra Vaidikanam Abhitejet. And even with the Vedic devatas, Swatantra Pujanam, considering them as independent of Bhagavan, that also give up. Considering them as part and parcel of Bhagavan, you can offer them pranam. But Swatantra Pujanam, removing Bhagavan and worshipping only them, Tyajet, you give that up. Archayitva Jagadvandyam Devam Narayanam Harim. By worshipping that all Supreme Lord Hari, Tad Avarana Samsthanam Devasya Paritorche. There is the central deities Hari, and around that there are Avaran Devatas. There are deities around him. Ganesh, Shiva, Devi, etc. It is called Avarana Puja. What is it known as, dear devotees? Avarana Puja. Avarana Puja is around the main deity there are other deities, and then those deities are also worshipped as part of Avarana Puja. Then Hare bhuktava sheshena balim tebhyo virikshipe, and whatever Hari has consumed as bhoga, give the remnants first to the Avarana Devtas, and after giving the remnants to the Avarana Devtas, then you consume that. So this is what is said in Bhakti Sandarbha by Sri Jiva Goswami. Please read the translation.
Therefore, one should give up worship of non-Vedic deities. One should also give up the independent worship of Vedic deities by considering them the supreme. However, having worshipped Hari as the supreme, one can worship the other devatas around him as his subordinates. The remnants of Hari should be offered to them.
One of the very contentious points in comparison of Gaudiya Vaishnavism and rest of India is about deity worship for ladies, because in rest of India the rules are very strict. Rest of Vedic culture rules are very strict. But Sri Jiva Goswami says for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, those ladies who are initiated, for them deity worship is allowed. Here is the direct praman from Sri Jiva Goswami. Please sing after me. एतद्वै सर्ववर्णानाम् आश्रमाणां च सम्मतम् श्रेयसामुत्तमं मन्ये स्त्रीशूद्राणां च मानद. One thing you will notice, wherever in Orthodox Vedic culture, wherever ladies are restricted, there Shudras are also restricted. One thing you will notice, wherever ladies are restricted, there another category is also restricted. Who is restricted? Shudra. But for Sri Jiva Goswami quotes a direct verse from the Bhagavatam. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
This process is accepted by and appropriate for all the occupational and spiritual orders of society. Therefore, I consider worship of you in your deity form to be the most beneficial of all spiritual practices, even for women and Sudras.
Wonderful. Direct praman from Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Jiva Goswami quotes. So he says that those who are born in Shudra Parivar, or those who are born as ladies, after initiation, they are eligible to perform deity worship. This is very clear praman given by Sri Jiva Goswami here. So Sri Jiva Goswami has given adhikar to those who are born as Shudra, or those who are born below Shudra, or those who are ladies, to perform deity worship. But is this before initiation or after initiation, dear devotees? After. Before initiation, even the Brahmin born will not be allowed to enter. I hope you are able to understand what to speak of it. Even the Brahmin born is not allowed to enter before initiation. So common criteria is for everybody: get second initiation, and no matter which family you are born, you are allowed to perform seva of the deity. This is the praman, dear devotees. Please note this praman very clearly. Now, once a deity is established, it should be understood that deity worship is forever. Till हिंदी में बोल जब तक जान है ना, जब as long as you are living, and before you pass away from this world, give the deity worship to some qualified person. Sri Jiva Goswami says, please sing after me. Pratishthitarcha na tyajya yavajivam samarchaye varam prana parityaga shiraso vapi kartanam. Pratisthita archa, established deity, na tyajya, never give up the seva. Yavat jivam, as long as you are alive, samarchayet, you worship. Varam prana parityaga, better than giving up deity worship is to give up your life. Varam prana parityaga. Shiraso vapi kartanam, inni sir kata lena acha hai, shiraso vapi kartanam, or better to chop off your own head rather than give up seva of the deity. This is Sri Jiva Goswami. Wonderful verse, please read.
As established deity should never be given up, one should worship it throughout one's life. Better than giving up a deity is to give up one's life or to cut off one's head.
It will be fulfilled till the end of my life. I did deity worship. So before giving up deity worship, end your life. That is what it is said. So that the condition is never broken. Yes, Mataji.
So, is it true for
Pratisthit archa.
Yes.
What is the meaning of pratisthit?
Pratisthit.
And I will take direct meaning. Because if I today adjust the words of Jiva Goswami will say, you are not representing me properly. So I have to represent him properly.
So even making someone leave their deity worship, what kind of...
making someone?
Leave their deity worship. Like an aparad or... Like
Why should one make somebody leave their deity worship?
Yeah, so like how should we take it?
Well, I think you're speaking about a very specific circumstance. But
no, I'm in general.
No. If somebody has been gifted a deity by their guru, the guru is the one, or the senior devotee is the one who gives the deity. Only the guru and the senior devotee can tell them, if they are not worshipping properly, then they can tell them that either learn how to worship properly, or I will give the seva to somebody else. Okay? So the guru may have that right to do that. But the disciple or the devotee who is serving under the authorities or the guru, they should learn the process of deity worship properly. Isn't it? If they have learned properly, Mataji, there should be no reason for anybody to ask them to give up their deity worship. No reason whatsoever. And
I have more questions, but I can ask.
Wonderful. Yes, Mataji.
So, follow up to her question only. So, Pratishtha, when you said the word, I was thinking
for medical, so I got like a thread.
Pratishtha is the process. Established deity.
So, I was thinking
You already do
Pratishtha, which is the temple deity. Harki deities,
You got some flowers. Oh, let me give you one directly.
There is no,
Here you
that's my
go.
understanding.
Thank you,
There is no Pratishtha in that. So I was thinking that she is asking that someone who has left the deity worship of their home deities.
I was not knowing this. My home deities are established by my Guru Maharaj. I'm sorry, I was not aware of this detail. I am not aware of what standards are in practice. I will tell you the traditional standards. If there is some opposition with what is going on locally, please forgive me.
Yes.
Please excuse me in advance. Traditionally, every home is temple, and the deity is the prana pratishtha of the deity is there. Okay, that is how it is. I will tell you traditionally also what used to happen. Traditionally, nobody would buy a deity from the market. Traditionally, the guru would see the eligibility of the disciple, and the guru would say, "Acha, you are initiated now. Okay? I will give you the seva of this particular Shri Vigraha." When the guru is giving the seva of Shri Vigraha, the guru is obviously giving established Pratishthit Shri Vigraha. Acha, another thing. In many homes, there are shalagram.
Yeah.
Now, can you say that shalagram is not installed? Shalagram is self-installed, eternally self-installed, isn't it? Any grihastha who is having shalagram at home, they are already having Pratisthit Archan. And I'm sorry because, I'm sorry, I don't know in different places what is going on. Deity worship ministry is better in this department, but the traditional standard I am just telling you.
One more question.
Sure. Yeah.
I have attended many deity welcoming ceremony. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me whether there was a Pran Pratishtha done or it was just the Abhishekam done and no Pran Pratishtha verses were spoken during locally deity welcoming service ceremony. Is that correct?
We close the eyes, open the eyes, we do the home, we do the Abhishekam.
Yes.
We follow the same process as in the temple deity.
But temple ke andar Vedic mantras are chanted which establishes the Pran Pratishtha of the deity.
We do the Gaudiya way of doing it.
No, Mataji, Pran Pratishtha is by Seva Unmukha. When the devotee invites, that's when Bhagwan descends. That Vedic invocation is formal way of inviting. And the devotee requesting the Bhagwan is the informal way of inviting. In both cases, Bhagwan descends. Otherwise, if the home deities are not established, then that it is not a deity, it is then an idol. I hope you are able to question, simple question. Do the deities at home, do they have pran or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. So,
yes.
Pran hai ki pranheen hai wo? Pran, there are pran in that. So Pran means somebody did Pran Pratishtha, but may not have been done by Vedic mantras. Might have been done in the mood of Raganuga Bhakti, Bhagwan, you play. Are Brajvasis, they know Vedic mantra, or they just know how to invite Bhagwan. So in the mood of Rag Bhakti, like the Brajvasis invite. Like that. Okay. But in any case, before we worship, Pran needs to be there in the deity. Deity has to be non-different from Bhagwan. Atidesh has to happen. Otherwise, what is the difference between idol and deity? I hope that is clear. Okay? I hope I am not running into some troubled zone.
No, there's no controversy going on here.
Okay.
Yeah. I think but people do use this word very carefully. We call deity welcoming versus deity installation. So they draw this difference in the English, these words. Okay. But most of us use the deity installation. Okay. But it's deity welcoming. So to be politically
but the deity is welcomed by a pure devotee. Okay. This is installation. We have to understand this, isn't it? This is installation.
So, Prabhu, having pictures of the installed deities in your temple, just worshipping the pictures, that is not deity worship at home. Those are not.
No, Mataji. One of the 8 types of deity is also painting.
Yes.
Okay, one of the 8 types of deity is also painting. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shaili, Darumai, Lauhi, that verse is there. One of the 8 types of deities is also painting. So painting is also there. But get it blessed by the Guru. Get it blessed by the Guru Jana or senior devotees. Like Bhagwan, please descend in this. Okay, aisa. Nothing, no problem. Worshipping a painting also. Alright.
प्रभु ये बोलते हैं कि एक इंडिविजुअल की जो सेवा भाव है उसमें आप किसी को सेवा भाव से कुछ कर रहे हो तो वही आपके लिए डेटी है
आप सेवा भाव से कर रहे हो वो आपके लिए डीटी है वंडरफुल बट एट द सेम टाइम अगर हम इफ वी वांट टू डू सेवा फर्स्ट थिंग इज वी वेलकम समबडी बिफोर वी डू सेवा so welcoming them, treating them like a king, these are important elements of doing seva. So therefore the procedure of pran pratishtha is there in Shastra. In exceptional cases, I don't deny what you're saying, in exceptional cases a devotee may not have done pran pratishtha and by doing seva and Bhagwan may become so pleased that Bhagwan may descend. As an exception it is okay, but we cannot make that as a rule. The rule is to perform pran pratishtha.
लेकिन अब जैसे टेंपल में हमने सब प्रोसेस किया हुआ है एक आदमी आता है वो उसको आइडल सोचता है और दूसरा उसको सेवा करता है बेसिकली तो दोनों के अंदर वो डिफरेंस है ना
हाँ but the person who is doing seva if he is considering him as Bhagwan so Bhagwan is of accepting that seva and if an onlooker simply one who is looking at the deity is considering idol Bhagwan will not reciprocate with that person. See? But those who are climbing on the altar they should not have that atheistic outlook. Okay. ठीक है. अच्छा. Very important instruction for deity worship by Sri Jiva Goswami. Anybody who is performing deity worship should not neglect other jivas, because the heart of the other jivas is also a place where Bhagwan is pratisthit already. I hope you are able to understand. There is one place where Bhagwan is pratisthit without having to do pran pratishtha. Which place is Bhagwan pratisthit, dear devotees? Within the heart of the living entities. While worshipping the deity in the temple, but by showing disrespect to the living entities, even the deity worship gets affected. So it is one very nice verse from the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Kapil Muni is saying, आत्मनश्च परस्यापि यः करोत्यन्तरोदरम् तस्य भिन्नादृशो मृत्यो विदधे भयमुल्बणम्. Prabhu, kindly read.
For a person having a differential outlook, who differentiates between the belly of himself and of other living entities, I, the Supreme Lord, appear in the form of all devouring death and continue his existence in the fearsome material world.
Anybody who has that differential outlook, or a deity service is the best. I hope you are able to understand. What to speak? Why should I respect this particular person? So even when you disrespect other Vaishnavas, at that particular point of time, deity worship gets affected. Because the heart of the other Vaishnava is also a pratisthit, an established seat of whom? Dear devotees? Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Acha, antarodaram, Sri Jiva Goswami mentions, antarodaram means udar. What is udar, dear devotees? Stomach, belly. You differentiate between the belly of one person and another person. Bhagwan you are feeding, bhoga. Acha, you see a poor man on the street, Jiva Goswami says in the commentary, see a poor man on the street, but you don't feed them prasad. Why? Arey, everything is meant for Bhagwan. Isko kya then? So I hope you are able to. So then, when one who does this differential mindset, that even after becoming a grihastha, having lot of money in one's hand, if one is having shatya means crookedness and not giving the resources for the seva of the living entities who are suffering in the world, this person's deity worship is going to get affected. 100%. Kindness towards other living entities is very important part of grihastha dharma. And we are not doing mundane charity here. We are giving them prasad. I hope you are able to understand. We are not we are giving them prasad. So always to give prasad to the poor living entities who are affected outside. That is one of the main ways in which even deity worship gets strengthened. And Sri Jiva Goswami makes a very important point about it. Especially grihasthas should remember all other ashrams are looking towards the grihastha with a hopeful eye that this ashram will support us. And when the grihastha starts neglecting the other ashramas and other living entities, then deity worship cannot go on nicely for such a person.
वो क्वेश्चन है आजकल मेरे ख्याल से सभी के माइंड में होगा जो मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी है उसके साथ मतलब जो गलत मुस्लिम्स हैं जैसे उनके साथ क्या ट्रीटमेंट होना चाहिए मतलब मानता हूँ कि वो जीवा है वो उसके
ये जो श्लोक है, this is for living entities who are genuinely suffering in the world outside. If you see a living entity who is genuinely suffering, maybe some poor person, भिक्षुक है, वो intention क्या है श्लोक का? कोई beggar है, कोई भिक्षुक है, don't neglect such a person. Somebody who is not suffering, somebody who is malicious in nature. अभी कोई community का हो, I am not highlighting any community, किसी भी community का हो, वो malicious है, government should deal with such people. ऐसा अग्रेसर बोलते हैं ना उसको, वन ऑफ द 6 टाइप्स ऑफ अग्रेसर्स हैं. अग्रेसर हो तो शास्त्र विल से डील विद देम लाइक एन अग्रेसर. दैट्स नॉट एन इशू. एनी गवर्नमेंट विल डील विद देम लाइक एन अग्रेसर. बट दैट वर्स इज मेंट फॉर लिविंग एंटिटीज हु आर सफरिंग. आई विल गिव यू वन एग्जांपल. समर सीजन, आई वाज इन एरिजोना राइट नाउ. समर सीजन, एवरीथिंग इज ड्राइड आउट. एवरीथिंग इज ड्राइड आउट. पुअर बर्ड्स डोंट हैव वाटर टू ड्रिंक. अच्छा, डीटी को यू आर ऑफरिंग एवरीथिंग. अच्छा, वो पुअर बर्ड आउटसाइड दे आर सफरिंग. आई होप यू आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. As a Vaishnava, what is the duty of the Vaishnava, their devotees? Isn't it that at least outside the home they should have some facility for the birds, for the animals, so that the birds and animals don't suffer in such a harsh weather. Okay? That is the intention of the verse. Don't neglect other living entities, especially when you see that they are suffering. Give them something which will benefit them spiritually, give them prasadam, etc. That's all. That is what is being said here. Anybody who neglects this, acha, why should I do? Bhagavan is in your heart. Later, when you are in need, Bhagavan will say, why should I do? So I hope you are able to understand. So don't, please don't neglect this wonderful principle that has been given by Sri Jiva Goswami. Acha. One should understand this thing, especially prosperous grihasthas. Sri Jiva Goswami makes a point about them. He says, अस्ति ये तु संपत्तिमान तो गृहस्था. संपत्तिमान. What is संपत्तिमान? Devotees, जिनके पास संपत्ति है, opulent गृहस्थ. तेषाम तु अर्चन मार्ग एव मुख्य. For them, which is the main path, dear devotees, अर्चन मार्ग. We have to take very seriously. Tad akritva hi. If they don't take archan seriously, though have a lot of money, but they don't do archana, nishkinchanavat, externally pretending, Hare Prabhu, I am a fallen person, I don't have anything. Keval smaranadi, I will just do smaran, I don't want to do deity worship. Nishthatve, vitta shathya, vipratipatti. Then a lot of cheating tendency will enter into their money. So the rich grihasthas should sponsor temple, deity, worship, sevas, 100%. Here is the Praman, dear devotees. Please read the translation.
The rich and prosperous grihasthas should definitely take up archanam as their main path. If they give up this path and try to focus only on smarana, etc., like the renunciates, then they will certainly incur the fault of cheating tendency in relation to spending their money.
This is a statement of encouragement. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? Please don't use this statement and distribute a pamphlet to everybody. It's a statement of
fundraising.
It's a statement of encouragement. What? Finally, it is up to every grihastha what they want to do, what they don't want to do, because they are earning the money, so they will decide how to spend. But this is statement of encouragement. Encouragement is given in two ways: positive encouragement, that they should use their money; negative encouragement, if you don't use your money, there will be cheating in the name of money in your own home. Both types of positive and negative encouragement are given here. So in this way, Sri Jiva Goswami is telling us. Please, dear devotees, all grihasthas never be miserly. Wonderful. This is a very nice verse. Please repeat after me. Kripanena samodata.
Kripanena samodata.
Nabhuto na bhavishyati.
Nabhuto na bhavishyati.
Asprishanneva vittani.
Asprishanneva vittani.
Yah parebhyah prayachati.
Yah parebhyah prayachati.
Who is the biggest donor in the universe? The verse is answering the question. Dear devotees, please hear carefully. Kripanena samodata na bhuto na bhavishyati. There is no donor in the past, no donor in the future as big as the miserly person. Sabse bada donor wo hai na? The miserly person is the biggest donor in the universe. Why? Asprishaneva vittani yah parebhyah pare. He gives away all his wealth to others even without touching it with his own hands. Itna bada donor hai wo. And I will tell you the hidden meaning behind the verse. If he would have touched and given to others, at least he would receive the piety. You know, in Balaji Mandir, when they are offering lots of sacks of grain, they just touch once. They touch once. So that touching signifies that I am giving by my free will. That is what the touching signifies. This person did not give. Even without touching, after his death, somebody is going to enjoy his wealth. At least if he would have touched and given, he would have some piety for his next life. But he is such a big donor, he even ended up donating his piety for next life. Wonderful, isse bada donor kidhar milega. There is no donor bigger than this. Aisa donor, you will not find anywhere in the universe.
Nabhuto na bhavishyati.
Yeah. Prabhu, please read the translation.
There has never been, nor will there ever be any charitable person in the world as the miser. Just see, this miser gives away all his wealth to others even without touching it.
And the hidden indication is, if he would have touched it, at least in next life he would have gotten. But itna bada donor, he donated his piety for his next life. So isse bada donor kaun hoga? Grihastha should please note, especially our temples which are, and there are many sevas, Gau Seva, Mandir Seva, they are all looking with expectation towards the Grihastha. Grihastha should take all these things seriously. Service to cows, service to Shri Vigraha, service to Brahman, service to Vaishnava. These things should be taken seriously by all the Grihasthas. So this is very important to understand. Miserliness will spoil next life. Miserliness will definitely spoil next life. And we don't want that. We don't want a next life. But if by the desire of Bhagwan we have to have a next life, how many of us would like to be born in an extremely poor family? Raise your hand. Not a sentimental statement. Think about it. Real. Okay. One person. Others are not willing to do that. Why? Because others understand. थोड़ा तो कुछ होना चाहिए ना. And the pura life I will struggle for earning money. See, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami is born with a golden spoon. I hope you are able to. Golden spoon. So much money. When the facilities are there and you don't have to struggle in the world outside for earning money, and that becomes your, all that time is saved. Because there are two resources you have in the world, time and money. One who has money, already has money, will be able to save their time. And they can use all that time in advancement on the path of devotional service. Acha, please note, Sri Krishna also says, Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Prashto Vijayate. Sri Krishna says, even if you don't desire, but if you have practiced bhakti in this life, Bhagwan will ensure that at least some financial status will be given to you, so that you don't have to struggle when you are performing or practicing your sadhana. But ensure better circumstances by giving something in this particular life. Aisa hai. Okay? Finally, dear devotees, if there are any mistakes made during deity worship, there is one nice verse which is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I often quote this verse. Mantratas tantratas chidram
Mantratas-tantratas-chidram
Deshakalarha vastutah
Deshakalarha vastutah
Sarvam karoti nischidram
Sarvam karoti nischidram
Anusankirtanam tava
Anusankirtanam tava
Mantratas chidram. There may be flaws in pronouncing the mantra. Tantratas chidram. There may be flaws in some procedures. Desha. Sometimes the country itself is flawed. Kala. Sometimes the time is flawed. Arha vastuta. Sometimes the things offered are flawed. Sarvam karoti nischidram. Everything becomes flawless when there is anusankirtanam, when there is repeated sankirtan of you performed while doing deity worship. This is a wonderful verse in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Kindly read, Prabhu, the translation.
There may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the regulative principles, and moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, person, and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless.
Wonderful. So this is what are the basic siddhantas, basic tattvas regarding Shri Vigraha and Shri Vigraha Seva. Dear devotees, I was happy I was able to cover these particular siddhantas. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we have some time.
Yeah, okay. Question.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, I have been thinking from this whole presentation, years back during COVID time you gave a lecture, Darshanam of Sri Krishna, I think in Columbus or somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. उसमें एक question था, you in that lecture where various references you gave and you said that Krishna पहले मन में आते हैं, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर के भी भजन से कि पहले मन में आते हैं and then you can see, otherwise who has seen the form of Krishna. So somebody asked the question कि हम consider करते हैं deity को as Krishna, so when we are looking at the deity we are looking at Krishna. Now in today's lecture, how can we correlate, or maybe if you can say something so that I have a clear picture in my mind, because in that time we had a big discussion and today's discussion was the deity is Krishna. And that time we said that we are not seeing Krishna, even you gave a reference of Sanatana Goswami that deity may bhi nahi hai. I am not very well remembering that reference.
I gave a quote by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti that there is some distinction between service of deity and direct seva of Golok Vrindavan of Bhagwan.
Something like that, yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I will show you that reference. No problem.
Yes. So please, अगर आप थोड़ा सा और clarify कर दें आज का lecture and उसमें, so that we have समन्वय of both the things.
See, the deity is non-different from Bhagwan. By which principle, dear devotees? Atidesh. Mataji, you have to remember also. By which principle? Atidesh. All the set of qualities of Bhagwan have been transferred into this particular form, and therefore we say that the deity is not different from Bhagwan. This being the case, deity has become non-different from Bhagwan, but has our body changed into spiritual, or our body is still material? Please tell me. Material. So although Bhagwan is present there, but the limitation is from our side and our body is material. Even with the deity, we are able to have limited interactions. I hope you are able to understand. Let's say if you would get your Siddha Swarup, your final perfected identity, then the deity will interact with you exactly as Bhagwan in the spiritual world will interact with you. But because currently you are not living in your perfected identity, you are living in the sadhaka body, which is a material body. Therefore, the interactions with the deity are also limited in nature. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and I am pointing out that particular section of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, yes, wonderful. This is the verse. Please repeat after me, dear devotees. Tatha hi shruyate shastre.
Tata hi shruyate shastre.
Kaschit kurupuri sthitah.
Kaschit kurupuri sthitah.
Nandasunoradhishtanam.
Nandasunoradhishtanam.
Tatra putrataya bhajan.
Tatra putrataya bhajan.
Naradasyopadeshena.
Naradasyopadeshena.
Siddho bhud vriddha vardhaki.
Siddho bhud vriddha vardhaki.
Tatha, now I am giving the entire context so that the question will be clear. Rupa Goswami is saying Tatha hi shruyate shastra, it is heard in Shastra. Kaschit kurupuri sthita, there was one individual staying in Kurukshetra. Nanda Sunor Adhishthanam, he was worshipping a deity of the son of Nanda Maharaj, Bal Gopal. Tatra putrataya, by considering the deity as a putra, the deity as the son, himself as the parent. Naradasya upadeshena, who had given the instructions? Narad. Siddho abud, he became perfected. Vriddha vardhaki, he was old carpenter staying in Kurukshetra. Commenting upon this, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says something, and I will specify this. He says, see here, Nanda Suno, I am highlighting this, can you see? Nanda Suno, Shri Krishnasya Adhishthanam Pratima. So he was worshipping a Pratima of Shri Krishna. What is the meaning of Pratima? He was worshipping a deity. Anena iyam seva. Now this seva, na vrajendrasya bhava cheshtitanusarini gya. This seva cannot be compared to the seva of Nanda Maharaj. He is also worshipping as a father. Nanda Maharaj is also worshipping Krishna as a father. But his seva cannot be compared to the seva of whom? Nanda Maharaj. Why? Tena tu sakshat Shri Krishnasya seva krita. Nanda Maharaj served directly whom? Shri Krishna. Na tu tat pratimaya. Nanda Maharaj did not serve a pratima. Now question arises, but pratima is not different from Shri Krishna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, why are you saying that there is a distinction between service of pratima, service of deity, and service directly of Krishna? The limitation is not on the side of the deity. The limitation is on the side of the worshipper. Because the worshipper has a material body, therefore the worshipper cannot perceive all the spiritual entities of Bhagavan. Actually, Bhagavan is also present between him and me. Is Bhagavan present between you and me? Yes or no, Prabhu? Yes. In which form? As Krishna, is he present between you and me?
Yes.
Very important question.
Yes.
As Krishna, is he present between you and me?
Yes.
As Narsimadev? No. He is present between you and me as Krishna, as Narsimadev, as Vaman, as all the forms, all sizes, all shapes, is looking in all directions. Personal form is present between you and me. Why are we not able to see? Sri Jiva Goswami explains, when Narad Muni went to Dwaraka, he saw 16,000 marriages of Krishna. He saw 16,000 simultaneous Krishnas. But he had seen only one Krishna take birth from one Vasudeva and one Devaki. Where did the remaining 15,999 Krishnas come from? That is when Narad Muni realized, Arey my goodness, actually in his personal form he is always there everywhere. So is he between you and me?
Yes.
As Krishna?
Yes.
As Chota Krishna?
Yes.
As Bada Krishna? As Narasimhadev? Sarvato Mukham. I hope you are able to understand. When Arjun saw that form, Sarvato Pani Padam stay, everywhere are your hand and feet. Arey my goodness. Iska matlab, all forms of Krishna are in all directions, face in all sizes, all shapes. ठीक है, पर्सनल फॉर्म, परमात्मा नहीं है, ब्रह्म परमात्मा नहीं बोलते और पर्सनल फॉर्म है. So limitation is on whose side, Mataji? Our side. That will solve the entire issue. That's the difference between serving the deity here and serving Shri Krishna there in the spiritual world. So just tattva say you understand na, that Krishna is present everywhere. Both of us also. Between me and him also. Between you and him also. Everywhere. So jaake then Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, is he in the pillar? So what did Prahlad say? तो क्या नरसिंह देव के एक दिन पहले आके सीमेंट बिठा के जाएगा? ऐसा तो नहीं है. Concrete पहले अंदर बैठा, then concrete apply and then Narsimha Dev is waiting. This is the pillar which he will attack. So I will first fit myself inside. ऐसा तो नहीं. Question is, how did Narsimha Dev arrive from that pillar? ये सवाल है. Think about it. How did Narsimha Dev become present in that pillar? Mataji, you tell me.
So now hearing you that he is present everywhere all the time, when Hiranyakashipu attacked, he was there and he appeared.
Is he present in his personal form or in impersonal aspect? Which aspect?
Personal form.
So he was already present there.
It is the faith that he is there.
Not simply the faith, it is a fact that he is present. Prahlad had the faith, and that faith was not based on sentiment. That faith was based on hearing from Narad Muni. As a fact, I know he is present there. That is Prahlad's understanding. And then did he appear for convincing Prahlad or for convincing Hiranyakashipu?
Convincing Hiranyakashipu.
So whose contribution is greater in the appearance of Narsimha Dev? Isn't it? I am not joking. There is a reason why I am saying this. Therefore, in the Bhagavatam, there is a statement 7 to 20. Shri Hiranyakashipu Vacha.
Shri Hiranyakashipu
Vacha. इसके नाम में क्या श्री लगाना? You put Shri in front of anybody's name, Shri Lakshmi है ना? Shri Lakshmi है, opulence है. This person will be put Shri Hiranyakashipu. ऐसा हो गया. Why for Hiranyakashipu you are putting Shri? Because Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada explains, he is the main reason for appearance of Narsimha Dev. Prahlad was already convinced. If he would have agreed to Prahlad, yes Prahlad, I agree, he is present in the pillar. So Hiranyakashipu, for Narsimha Dev would not have appeared. He appeared for convincing whom? Hiranyakashipu. So Jai Ho Shri Hiranyakashipu. बस यही बात है, ठीक है? ठीक है, चलो, wonderful. So yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, I have a question about the Grihastha verse that you mentioned. In that, you mentioned that Archanam should be performed, and it was said not just Smaranam. Why not just Smaranam? Why is Smaranam not enough?
Smaranam is enough. No doubt, Smaranam, any limb of bhakti independently is enough. No doubt about it. Sri Jiva Goswami says, especially when you have large amount of wealth, and 1/5 of that is supposed to be spent on dharmic causes. 1/5 of your wealth is supposed to be spent on dharmic causes, archanam or giving charity or something like that. And I will not speak without praman. There is a praman for that. I will show you that praman. Dharmaya yashasirthaya Kamaya svajanaya cha Panchadha vibhajan vittam Ihamutra chamodate. This is Shukracharya's statement to Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is about to give 100%. Not 20%. How much? 100% he is about to give to Vamandev. Shukracharya says, stop, beta, stop. Panchadha vibhajan vittam. Divide your wealth in how many parts? Five. Acha, hear the 5 parts from me, Bali, before you give 100% to this Vaman Dev. Dharmaya, 1/5 should be given for what? Dharma. Deity worship, all these things. For temple seva, 1/5 should be given. Yashase, 1/5 for ensuring your own fame in the next world. Tomorrow people should remember there was somebody named Bali. नहीं तो इतना बड़ा राजा came and went and nobody will remember. Yashase, do something, people will remember you. Actually, a person doesn't die when their body dies. A person dies when their fame and name dies. So please do something where people will remember your good example. Yashase, the second 1/5. Third, arthaya. The third 1/5 should be investment. Money which will produce more money. Every month, 1/5 should be invested. Fourth, kamaya. Fourth 1/5 should be for one's own gratification. खुद भी तो enjoy करो, तो क्या पैसा? Why are you earning money if you don't enjoy yourself? And final 1/5, swajanaya, for relatives. The relatives will curse you. You know why this person became our family member. Panchadha vibhajan vittam. Divide your wealth in how many parts? 5. Iha amutra. In this world and next world, modate, you will be happy. Acha, look, Prabhu, read the translation of the verse by Srila Prabhupada.
Therefore, one who is in full knowledge should divide his accumulated wealth in 5 parts.
Okay.
For religion.
First part.
For reputation.
Second part.
For opulence.
Third part.
For sense gratification.
Fourth part.
And for the maintenance of his family members.
Fifth part.
Such a person is happy in this world and in the next.
Acha, look at the irony of the situation, Mataji. The person to whom he is donating is Bhagwan Krishna. And the person who is stopping is Shukracharya. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan has said, Kavi Nam Ushana Kavi. Amongst all the learned people, I am Ushana. And Ushana is who, dear devotees? Ushana is Shukracharya. So the person who is preventing is also Bhagwan. And the person who is asking the donation is also whom? Bhagwan. Look at the irony of the situation. Amongst all the great thinkers, I am Ushana. And see here, Srila Prabhupada says, among the Kavis, Ushana. What is Ushana, dear devotees? Shukracharya is the spiritual master of the Asuras. Dear devotees, try to understand, but Bhagwan is saying, Kavi Nam Ushana Kavi. Amongst all the great thinkers, I am Shukracharya. My Niti, Shukra Niti is the best Niti in the entire world. So when Shukracharya is saying this, dear devotees, that divide your wealth 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, then how many of you in real life will side with Bali Maharaj and how many of you will side with Shukracharya? Be honest. How many of you will side with Bali Maharaj? Bolo. And if anybody raises their hand, right now they have to donate everything to the temple. How many will side with Bali Maharaj today?
एक दूसरा का हाथ होता है.
अच्छा देखो practicality में nobody wants to become Bali Maharaj. अच्छा, how many agrees with Shukracharya? Please raise your hand.
हरी बोल जय.
शोक बिल्कुल शर्माओ मत, मैं हाथ उठाता हूँ, ठीक है? How many agree with Shukracharya? We agree. Why? Kavi Nam Ushana. Amongst all the Niti Shastra knowers, Bhagwan is Shukracharya. So this is Bhagwan showing his Niti. Shukracharya, Shukra Niti is the best Niti for practical life. Okay, so 1/5 one. Mataji, 1/5 for Dharma. Coming back to your query, 1/5 for Dharma should be given. That is why, that is what it is specified. So Grihastha should give. If Grihastha doesn't do this, then with the Shathyam, वो 1/5 का क्या होगा? What will happen to that 1/5? Bhartrihari says, there are only 3 ways in which money, there are only 3 destinations of money. Please repeat after me, dear devotees. Dan, Bhog, Nash. If you don't do Dan and if you don't do Bhog, personal enjoyment, then Tritiya Gatir. What is the Tritiya Gatir? Nash. So इधर भी नहीं लगेगा, उधर भी नहीं लगेगा. Then you will become the most charitable person. You know who is the most charitable person? Who neither enjoyed nor donated, and also gave up your piety for next life. This deity worship mein you have to spend.
Hare Krishna.
That verse, Shri Krishna Nama, talks about how our ability to perceive Krishna depends upon Sevanaya. Now, in the case of being the deity, there is the establishment of the deity. This is where you invoke Sevanaya. There's also the persons who are observing the deities or taking darshan of the deities. Is there also Sevanaya? There is Sevanaya.
Of course, those who are having darshan of deity, those who are having glancing at the deity, they are also performing seva. Why? In front of the deity, there are many limbs of bhakti that can happen. One limb is described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as Vigyapti. Vigyapti is opening your heart and telling Bhagavan who I am really. Coming in front of Bhagavan and then praying. You don't have to say on the mic, but in your mind you have to say. Like for example, somebody may say, Bhagavan, I tried my best to be a devotee. And I will tell you something, Bhagavan, in my heart this has been troubling me so much. So many years I tried, I am still not able to give up my habit of smoking cigarettes. I don't tell anybody, but it is a problem within my heart. Bhagavan, please help me. Acha, this is Vigyapti. What is this, dear devotees? Vigyapti. So, one limb of bhakti which is performed in front of the deity. This is Vigyapti. Vigyapti is to be very honest with the deity. That, Bhagavan, this is my situation. Because you tell somebody else, suppose I end up telling him, Prabhuji, thoda smoking problem is there. Huh? So, tomorrow if me and him are on not so good terms, he will tell third person, Are you know, Hari Parshad, he had this problem. So pura mandir mein ho jayega. I hope you are able to. So, Vigyapti is with the deity. Why? Because deity understands Guhya Makhyati, how to keep secret. So therefore, Vigyapti in front of the deity. Okay. So many limbs can be performed by this person. We'll go to him, then we'll come to you. Yes.
Just one question in connection with same donation.
Donation.
Donation, right? So the second point you mentioned that it should be given for the next life, right? But I think Bhagavatam also says if we are donating something, we should not have any without any expectation. We should give
100%.
So, but here it's saying that means we have some expectation, right? It is.
When you are giving, different people will have different motivations. A new person may give with the motivation, I will benefit in next life. You who are so well established on the path of bhakti, for so many you have taken Diksha, you don't have that motivation. Okay. Your motivation is different. You are causeless in your donation. But acha, chalo. Imagine a situation in which according to Bhagavan's desire, there is going to be a next life. Bhagavan will give or not give? You did not have the expectation, but a calculation to Bhagavan did na ki chalo he gave without expectations, he gave $1,000, but he did not expect anything in return. For some reason, this is not his final life, it is his next life. In next life, am I going to just rub it off or am I going to count that $1,000? He is going to count that $1,000. Aisa hai. Bhagavan's side he will remember. Your side you be causeless. Aisa. I hope that clarifies. So your question was also clarified.
Yeah. Can I ask a follow-up on that?
I'll go to him, then I'll come back to you. Yes.
Prabhu, on the concept of Kripana, like there are some elderly people who
elderly people
who will in their will they will write that give to the temple or give so much to the cows, or they will give to their children and their children will donate to the temple. Is that also considered like Kripana or like
no, somebody who wrote in his will, which means his acceptance is there, which means he has agreed that this should go to the temple, this should go to the deity. Somebody wrote in his will that I want to go to give to my children, and then children decided we will give to the deity. So the piety will go to the children, not to this person. That is what. Then he will not get that 1/5 of the piety which he was supposed to give for Dharma. 1/5 was for your relatives. He did that part. But he did not do that part where 1/5 was supposed to be given for Dharma. So, the direct donor is the one who gets it. And even if you have written in a will, the will signifies will. I hope you are able to understand. The will signifies that your voluntary desire that I want to give. Wonderful that you can do.
Same question in different form. Sometimes you donate on behalf of your children.
On behalf of children.
So, will the children also get that piety?
See, main thing is whose intention was it? I hope you are able to understand. Whose intention was it? Donation was by whose intention? Okay. Now you say a prayer. Let the piety of all of this, instead of coming to me, let that piety go to the children. As a prayer you can say. And the presiding deities may decide to do that, optionally. But the best is when somebody gives voluntarily.
Sorry, can I ask a question? Same sentence. If that person, let us say that we give money to the children, and after our life, if they donate on our behalf, saying that okay, if I donate something, it will benefit to the parents. So will it should still go to them, right?
For benefiting the parents, there are other ceremonies mentioned in Shastra, Shraddha and Tarpan. They follow Shraddha and Tarpan and benefit the parents. Na?
But still donation also, and his name.
Sure. But since those are not directly mentioned as Vedic rituals, therefore optionally you may get the result, optionally the parent may not get the result. Instead of taking that risk, better to either donate directly or to offer it as Shraddha to parents so that direct benefit is there. Okay.
Use that money for wrong causes. But will it still go to the parent who has given that money?
I didn't understand.
No, let us say the parent has given money at the end of his life, and that person, that boy, he uses that money for wrong things.
So that the boy will get implicated. Parent has done his duty. Parent has done his duty. The person who misspent it will get the reaction. Prabhu, you had one question and then I'll come to you.
So the seven things is by the acharya or the devotee who is establishing, invoking the deities, and also by the person who is praying to the deities. In the case of the holy name also, is it that both the parties, when they have the seven mukhe, then the Lord is present, or any of them?
When the Guru, in the case of Harinam, when the Guru chants on the beads of the disciple, the Guru is Sevan Mukha, that he is inclined to Seva. So he is chanting, that time the Sevan Mukha happened, he gave to the disciple. Now it's between disciple and Bhagwan. I hope you are able to understand. Now the beads are with the disciple. The disciple has to develop Sevan Mukha attitude. Once the disciple has that attitude, the Guru has to do his duty once in this regard. And the disciple has to do his duty every day, 16 rounds. Like otherwise what will happen? For every disciple, the Guru will get caught every single day. So the Guru is doing his bhakti, the disciple is doing his bhakti. Okay? One last query, Prabhu, then we will pause. Time is up, I think. Should we pause now or can we take one last query?
Hare Krishna, Prabhus. Lotus Pranam.
A little bit enlighten us in terms of the significance of deity worship in the Grihastha ashram. All the ashrama Grihasthas are well placed and they have all the facilities to serve compared to the other three ashrams. And how does it help in the progress in our?
Acha, wonderful question. It is only in the Grihastha ashram that we are blessed with finances and resources. Traditionally, only a Grihastha would have direct access to money. The Brahmachari has to get from the Guru. The Vanprastha has to beg Madhukari, and so the Sannyasi also. So traditionally there is only one ashram who has direct access to money and resources, that is Grihastha ashram. Now if this money and resources are spent on deity worship, the pleasure of Bhagwan is also there and the remnants of the deity can benefit the society also. What is personal progress in this regard? Now that is what I mean, because the crux of your question is about personal progress. To serve the deity is to basically serve them while entering with a mood of entering Goloka Vrindavan. Deity worship is perhaps one of the best ways of performing service through the mind, which in technical terms in Gaudiya Vaishnavism is called Manasi Seva. Manasi Seva is Seva of Bhagwan through the mind. So when you are entering the altar, are you entering a material place or are you entering Golok Vrindavan? Please tell me. Can you enter with this ego or do you have to purify your ego? And what is that process of purification called? Bhuti Shuddhi. So when you enter, then your mindset also is that, what is your civil name?
Venkataya.
Venkat Iyer is not entering into the altar. So an aspirant for Golok Vrindavan is entering the altar. And then with that mood that I aspire to be a servant of the Guru is also a resident of Golok Vrindavan. Under the guidance of the Guru, who is a resident of Golok Vrindavan, I, who is aspiring for Golok Vrindavan, is mentally rendering service through the mind and externally rendering service through my hands. And then that seva which is happening through the physical senses is primarily also happening within the mind. That is how deity worship enables smarana. And smaran is the crux of all sadhan bhakti. The heart of all sadhan bhakti is smaran. Because smartavyaha satatam vishnur vismartavyo na jatuchit. Sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayor eva king. You know the verse. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is the essence of all forms of devotional service. So, didn't your deity worship assist you in smartavyam satatam? Any seva which helps you in your smaran is helping you progress on the path. Deity worship all the more so ever.
So why I ask that question is because when we received the deities, that was one of the our spiritual superior said that this helps in the progress in the grihasthas life. But with all the whatever your work, family responsibilities, services and things like that, sometimes this deity worship in the home is just like a formality. Okay, I have to do one aarti for the deities and Ekadashi, you change the dress and once in a day change the body. So, so how is that smaranam? How like is it like I see when I also have some privilege of hosting some visiting Vaishnavas and preachers, and when they do the deity service, they either put their Guru Maharaj lecture and here and do service. So how does that smaran? Because if you have to do aarti, either Gora aarti or Mangala aarti, you sing Guru Ashtakam or Gora. So how is that smarana? Like, help us in that aspect of it.
So, if you see the GBC manual, Pancharatra Pradeep.
You have to. Is it shared?
Yeah, I have. Okay. You want to see the manual?
No. Maybe you can share. Share to Srinivas Prabhu.
I will share. I will show you the Pancharatra. Can you see Pancharatra Pradeep DT handbook by whom?
GBC.
ISKCON GBC press. And so from this I am speaking. What it is based on the traditional Gaudiya Vaishnava standards. So there are many pranams and anyways, all the steps are given there. So see here, one simple thing is given there. Tilak, etc. Yes. Waking the Lord, chanting Jai on seeing the deity, offering obeisances, offering Mangalarti. Then all the utensils. See here. Can you see what is written there? Meditation. It's right there in the GBC handbook of deity worship. Meditation for what? Meditation is required because you are entering a different zone altogether. From Seattle, you are entering into mentally you are entering into Golok Vrindavan. Now, this is for those who have a natural taste in Archanam. If Archanam is not your natural taste, because you are allowed to have a taste in one of the 9 limbs of Bhakti.
Yeah.
If Archanam is not your natural taste, sometimes this may happen more mechanically for you. But whichever limb you are favoring, let's say Shravanam, Kirtanam, whatever, that limb should facilitate your Smaranam. And this limb also try your best to perform with that mindset that I am aspirant for Golok Vrindavan and this is my seva. The whole GBC booklet is about this thing only. You are going to offer Pushpa. At that time there is a mantra that I am offering this Pushpa to. I will not speak the mantra because it was second initiates. I am offering this Pushpa. And you are offering the Deepa. So there is mantra for offering Deepa. In your mind, what are you thinking? Is Venkat Iyer offering or is an aspirant of Golok Vrindavan offering? Please tell me. What is the mindset behind the offering? That is what your Smaran is.
So I was thinking, like, again, Smaranam is more always thinking about the name, form, past. So Smaranam is also active. Like while connecting.
Active seva. Active seva. is also Smarana, isn't it? It is encouraged here. And it is all bona fide because it is authorized by ISKCON GBC. This is actually the heart of deity worship, isn't it? Smarana is the heart of all the processes of it. Okay? I would request that devotees should understand the mood of this booklet which has been published by the GBC. A lot of progress will be made simply by understanding this. And I will specify here, there is see here, Bhuta Shuddhi. Please read, Prabhu, what is this highlighted section?
Yoga, establishing and becoming fixed in one's spiritual identity.
Please read this.
This includes cleansing the body of material consumption and assuming a spiritual body fit for service to the Lord. Chanting mantras, Bhuta Suddhi, identifying oneself as a servant of the servant of Krishna.
See, this is Bhuta Shuddhi. I told you, you can't enter with that masculine ego on the altar. So those who have researched in this department know what is Bhuta Shuddhi.
So, Bhuta Shuddhi, like most of the time before we perform the worship, we do arcā-vigraha.
That is Bahir Shuddhi.
Okay.
Bhuta Shuddhi is Anta Shuddhi.
So that's just a thought process itself. There is no external mantra.
No. The mantra is given there. There are many mantras of Bhuta Shuddhi, but the sum and substance is you give up your material ego before you step on the altar. Anta Shuddhi. So that is the crux of Bhuta Shuddhi. Many details start to be. It is an entire science in itself. So many things are to be known in this. But I am just giving it. I don't want to overwhelm you in this regard. But there is some mood behind going on the altar. That mood is to be an aspirant of Golok Vrindavan. And it's right there. It's the authorized process by our institution also. That you can't enter the altar without having that aspiration for Golok Vrindavan. That is what it is. Okay. ठीक है प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच. हरे कृष्णा. जय श्रील प्रभुपाद.
So Hare Krishna, Prabhu is going to give another class at 6 p.m. today, the Linwood Temple. So those who want to drive or give me a ride, we all can go to Linwood Temple. So, and then tomorrow also the class, and Monday evening. Monday evening. Yeah. So that's it. Loud Hari Bol to Hari Parshad Prabhu. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Anybody who wants Pancharatra Pradeep soft copy, I will send a soft copy to Damodar Prasad Prabhu and he can forward it to you. Right? Please study. This is the official ISKCON GBC manual. Please study
the same thing which is on the Deity Ministry site.
Yes.
But so Deity Ministry site.
But
that's in English.
This one also has the Sanskrit verses. I will send this one just in case. So that.
That's what I'm thinking.
So the question and answer.
Q&A.
Q&A.
But today
evening is Linwood, 6 p.m. and tomorrow 11 a.m. Same place here, 11 a.m. Question and answers. That means all these questions again.
Yeah.
And 7 p.m. tomorrow, Samamishtam. Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Topics you publish?
हाँ topics are published. Bhakti and कल शाम को है. अच्छा.
Please read Purushottam messages.
Okay.
Thank you. Purushottam is our temple group. Local. पूरा temple group है. 400, 500 से भी ज़्यादा तो.
So dear devotees, Srinath Prabhu had some urgent statement, so he will be back in 20 minutes. So I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Yes.
The group was named after you, Prabhu.
But I am not in that group.
Because you are not visiting
वो
Seattle often.
आप सेवा उन्मुख हो जाओगे ना तो आपको ग्रुप में ऐड करना
समावेश उन्मुख था वो समावेश में आते नहीं थे बहुत तो उनको याद कर करके अभी बाद रिक्वेस्ट